recording. Is that better? 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to the SOE Community Webcast, Sound and Music in Free Realms. Yeah, isn't that cool? Aimee, Ashlanne, Rekoske, the Community Relations Project Manager. And we have the stars of our show, Rodney Gates, the Audio Director.
Hello.
And Mark MacBride, Sound Designer.
Hello.
And they're back at your request.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are here for you.
Your viewing pleasure.
Yeah.
So we brought you guys back to chat about Free Realms. Mm-hmm. And I have a few questions that we took from the Free Realms forums. But before we go into those, I have personal questions that I need to ask.
Sure.
So they're very personal. So Rodney, we need to talk about the moose head.
The moose head. Oh,
head.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So
what would you like to know?
Well, you're the star. You're the moose head.
Now,
Yes.
everybody, the secret's out.
The secret
Yes,
is
I
out.
know. I am the voice of the moose head due to necessity of time, probably more than anything. But it seemed to be kind of a little bit of a hit once it went around here locally and stuff. So hopefully everybody's enjoying it.
Well, it's a hit in my house. My
Yeah.
kids love the moose head.
Yeah, good.
And I know the fans love the moose head.
Yeah,
I love the moose head also.
I do.
he does.
Will you will you do the moose head for us?
Oh, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course. Well, the moose, you put him on your wall. He kind of looks around, he animates a little bit, and then you click on him, and he does some laughs and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I originally got a request from, I think, the art director, Matt Case, and he said, hey, we've got this wall mount that we're putting up, and it'd be really cool if he sounded like a little bit like this. He did some laughs, and maybe he sang a little tune and whatever, and I'm like, well, sure, So he said, can you just run off a bunch of stuff for us and send it over, and we'll take a listen? I'm like, sure, yeah. So just the different laughter. Now, the first thing I thought of, obviously, Rocky and Bullwinkle or what have you. But then I also thought of like Goofy's voice from Disney, right? So, and that's the voice every time I put my daughter to bed at night. I always go through these series of voices and stuff just for fun with her. So it was, went right into how you doing, that kind of thing. So, so I do all that stuff. I tell her stories with her name in it. She thinks it's great. So, and then I sang a little like ad lib tune for the guy, but then Matt came back. He's like, no, do the Free Realms theme. And I'm like, oh, perfect. So that's what we put in for that. So if there's anything else custom we could have, I have a feeling there might be a few more animations added to this after all this.
I'm a big EverQuest 2 fan.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. I know in the last time you guys were here, you guys talked with Tom or talked about Toby.
Yes.
Tom Terrorbird Toby?
Yes, the Terrorbird, yes.
Yes, and I'm hoping maybe that we can get some sort of moose head singing the EverQuest 2 song,
Yeah,
That would
I think
be
we should get a moose head in
and it would
every
probably be
game.
Mark.
Somewhere, an Easter egg, maybe you have to work for it to you reach level 90, you get a moose head.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
That'd be
That's
perfect.
my dream
And
for
if there's
SOE.
and if there's ever a female moose head that's created for Free Realms and stuff, then we can
can
pull you
train
in.
you.
We will
be
pull
the
you
moose
in.
head?
You could be the moose head.
It's hard. I mean, that's Rodney's
moose head.
natural voice. He's actually masking his voice with this
I'm trying
human
to
thing
sound-
he does.
I'm really
So you might have to
Australian
work
and
a
I
little
sound
harder.
goofy.
Yeah.
All right, so Mark, is your voice hidden somewhere in Free Realms? Have you done voice work?
I don't know if it's in a lot of the other games, but I'm not sure if there's any,
Yeah, there's lots of stuff that we do that's a lot of like exertion and character reactions for attacks and stuff like that we do a lot of and stuff. So some of that stuff might have been reused. Not sure, 100%.
Yeah, Rodney takes care of most of the Free Realm stuff these days. I'm off doing the other stuff, but I don't know if my voice is in that one. It's in the other ones you can find me, but
You can find it.
yeah.
All right. So where specifically in the other games?
well, in EverQuest, I've done a bunch of the creature stuff.
Yeah.
The Free Blood voice is me.
For a male or a female or both?
Both. Yeah.
Sweet.
You have
Nice.
yes, make it a little higher, and then a bunch of mostly creature design that I've done. There's a little bit of me in the raptor mount. There's kind of all over the place.
Well,
You kinda have
there's
to.
a raptor in Free Realms. He's one of the
Yeah.
rides.
I guess I could get myself in there. Yeah.
I don't know if he has sound. I have to check on that.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see which ones.
Okay,
Which ones are still coming out.
enough fun. I have some real questions.
Sure.
This one was on the forums, but a couple people asked it, so I didn't assign it to anybody. But they wanted to know kind of what a typical day is like for you guys.
Well,
if there is, I mean, there's no typical day like for community at all. I mean,
sure.
we never have a typical day.
Stuff's different every day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But for you guys, do you have a typical day?
We can, like, you know, there's so many titles that we're juggling, right? So like any given day, I think I've touched as many as 4 games in one day. Just, it could be small things or whatever, dialogue here, something like that. So yeah, we just kind of, we come in, we'll sit down, like maybe we'll work on Unicorn P or something like that, like, and then go to lunch, right? And then afterwards come back and put something in for Clone Wars.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you move on to some really cool sounding gun that you're doing for PlanetSide.
Right.
So, but lots
It's
of
a lot
times.
of gear shifting, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a ton of gear shifting and stuff like that.
You go from something really goofy to something that's supposed to be the coolest sounding
Yeah.
vehicle, but a lot of times we come in, we have to assess our priorities, you know, see what new things have been thrown at us, and just
Yeah, see what's getting
know.
published that week or next week or whatever, or you hear from the guys from Magic the Gathering, like, oh, we got 20 characters coming up for December, we got to get those guys knocked out,
Right.
stuff like that. So there's lots of juggling, but we usually know at least a couple of weeks in advance what's coming down the pike, so
All right.
if that helps any.
and we have the dealing with composers and all the business stuff that we
Yeah, the
try
admin
to
stuff.
avoid, but fit that in there somewhere.
Naima wants to know, have you guys worked on any of the boom boxes in Free Realms?
Robo Boom Box.
Yeah, that's the one that I just did recently, was the Robo Boom Box.
Yeah?
So he, well, there's a particular track that I think it was Floyd who picked out. He's like, yeah, I've been animating the boombox to this particular tune. Let's use that one. I said, that sounds good. And it kind of reminded me of like music from Flight of the Conchords a little bit, because it was a robotic, Robo Boombox. But that one was kind of fun. So there's some machine sounds that we put on it, because it has all this, gears moving around and stuff like that. And then it just busts open and starts kicking out this synth tune. It was pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. But have you guys worked on other boom boxes, or is this your first?
That was my first boombox, because I think a lot of them had been done previously back when one of our other guys was still here.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, Rob Krekel did the majority of the
Yeah.
sound for Free Realms at launch and everything, so we got to mention
Yeah.
him for sure.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice shout out. All right. So I'm gonna mess up your name, guy. So I'm sorry, but Rovalyn asks, "What's your favorite sound in Free Realms?"
Let's see. For me, it's the dragon. Is it the dragon? Or is it the Tyrannosaurus? One of those two pets. I think it's the dragon pet. It wasn't one that I did, but it was one that one of our guys we contracted did. He came in and he had a bunch of vocalizations that he did for that, but he took helium first, because it's just a pet. So he's
We sacrifice a lot for
doing
our
a lot of that
drums.
stuff like that.
Brain cells,
There's some
whatever.
burps and stuff in there. They're all, but it's all heliumized and stuff. So it was pretty awesome.
That's so cool.
So whenever he's doing his pet tricks or his pet number 1 and 2, he's, so it's pretty fun.
Very fun.
What about you, Mark? Do you have a favorite?
I this is one that Rodney did. It was the kangaroo mount,
Oh yeah.
which is I just thought was super cool, because it's a lot of times you get these things. A kangaroo is a kangaroo,
Right,
so you
right.
have to make it special. And so he added like a
Yeah.
motorboat sound when he because he goes
He's
through the
swimming.
water and his tail spins around.
So it's kind of stuff that's out of context, but with Free Realms you can be whimsical like that. Like
The boing,
I had a
jump.
first pass on it and stuff when I was trying to use existing sound assets that we had because of time, and I sent it back, and then Matt goes, it could use a little bit more. This is kind of a special thing. I'm like, well, sure, yeah, let me have another crack at it, and went back and added some fun stuff and some boings to his jump and stuff like that.
Boings.
So yeah, just stuff that you would expect kind of from a cartoon, I guess,
Yeah.
but it was fun.
I mean, where can you work where you have to have boings? for
Yeah.
your job,
Exactly.
You use mini boings.
Exactly. I got to get to those boings today. Yeah.
All right. Continuing on with silly.
Sure.
This one is also from Nimo. He says, "What's the silliest slash strangest sound effect you've ever used or recorded for Free Realms?"
That's a good question.
Yeah, the silliest stuff. There's some. It's not really silly, I guess, but
I think the moose is the
it's just voice. It's just voice.
Yeah.
But there's also there's this little gingerbread house that we just did for the holidays and stuff that kind of came out. So it had these little poofy things where candy would fly out of the chimney and stuff. It was kind of fun. So just adding a little glistening little harp strums and stuff to that was
Yeah.
kind of. It's not really funny, but it sure is fitting. So it just kind
silly
of
and-
makes it seem really, I don't know, magical and kid friendly.
Yeah, my daughter had to have that. She loved it.
Oh, good. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
She says she wants more things like the gingerbread house. So
Yeah.
You have to think of more
Have
stuff.
to come
like
back the
that.
next holiday.
Yeah.
See if we can get something different. So,
Gingerbread castle.
yeah.
What about you? Mark, anything strange or silly? I know you said moose head, but...
Yeah, well, I haven't done a whole lot of stuff for free roams myself. I think that the stuff we were talking about with the dragon is brilliantly silly. You know,
Right.
you actually
you
ingest helium
comes to life.
to get
It's
yourself
awesome.
in the game. That's the pinnacle of silly. So
Exactly,
But
yeah.
I didn't put that in, but that's one I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about that, that's a special trip. You got to go to the grocery store and get the balloon, and you got to plan that out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, how about some technical stuff? What programs do you guys use? What do you regularly work with for doing sound?
That's a good list.
Yeah, it can be a rather large.
We use, that's a good question. We use Pro Tools, which is a popular sequencing program for all our sound design work. We use SoundForge for once we get everything out of there and we just want to do a little small
fine
edits
editing.
to get it in the game. Yeah, we use plugins by Waves, which is these are company names, Waves, Sound Toys, Massey, McDSP. Gosh, so many.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff like that. And even on like the game asset end, like I use Winamp Pro's MP3 encoder when we get the assets ready for the game because it sounds better than the SoundForge encoders do. Because I did this listening test before I started working on PlanetSide 2, and I'm like, wow, this one sounds much better, and the levels are a lot nicer. You know, it sounded a lot truer to the original sound before it was compressed than what SoundForge was doing for us. So that's stuff, you know, just kind of a consumer product that's out there that turned out better. So
That's pretty cool.
Pro Tools HD is our big, that's where we spend most of our time.
yeah, that's kind of the industry standard for film, post-production, and what have you.
All right. Okay, so we know that a lot of SOE employees help out with voice work, obviously.
Yeah.
Can you guys give a shout out to some of the other SOE celebrity voices? I mean, obviously
Yes.
besides you two and Tom Toby.
Right.
Should we ask them first?
Yeah.
Before we out them?
Before we out them.
Nah, it's just
There's some
out
stuff. There's some work that like it was all SOE employees that worked on the Patterson Facebook game that we had when it was still up. So we had Lori Fuller, who works on the Clone Wars team, and we had Taylor Dowell, who's now on. She's referee Ruby, right? For is that right? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. She did some voices for the Patterson game as well and stuff. So and right now we're using her voice as a temp soldier for PlanetSide 2, and Mark's all over PlanetSide 2. It's like the overseer and all the soldier voices and stuff because he sounded more manly than I did. So
It's more manly.
he's good at yelling.
That's,
and stuff, so.
yelling and, you know, that kind of, I'm just good at it,
Yeah.
Incoming!
Oh gosh.
How's that? See, did I blow the mics up?
You probably did. And
Make the audio engineer mad.
and there have been other people in the past, but since we're still relatively new to us, we have only been here a little over 2 years now.
Gotcha.
I'm sure there are all kinds of. I keep hearing people joke about the original PlanetSide dialogue and stuff, so I think some of the guys did some of that.
Okay.
They're like, we got to have the classic voices. We got to have that as a download pack or something. I'm like, I got to find it. I don't know who did it or where it's at.
Yeah, a lot of times we'll have employees do stuff, but it's temporary, and you know we end up not being able to keep it due to contractual
Cool.
things, and kind of stinks. Sometimes it's usually some of it's actually really good.
Yeah.
When Free Realms was in beta, we used to have daily playtests. I don't know if you guys were here at the time,
no, I
but
wasn't.
in the original tutorial, there was the monster that went grr, ar, grr, right? And that was placeholder sound effect.
Yeah.
And they took it out of the game, and the employees flipped out. Like everybody's like, no, where's the sound? And I mean, even me, I was devastated. And they're like, but it was placeholder sound.
It grows on you a little
And
bit.
but everybody loved it because it was funny and cute, and it was just an employee's voice for placeholder text, sound. But it was so fun, and they ended up putting it back.
Yeah, that's good. Otherwise, that's called temp love. Sometimes
Yeah.
is what happens. Like if you put in, if you design a gun sound and someone loves it, and you go to change it. Oh boy, it's like it better be good out of the gate. Otherwise,
exactly.
people will have a problem.
Freaked out.
Yeah, they do. They get attached to it.
What's the wow, Aimee? What would you say the favorite aspect of your job is?
For me, it's the diversity of the different projects. Being really super serious with something, or jumping into the Star Wars universe with Clone Wars, on this day, and then doing something whimsical for Free Realms is cool because it really keeps it fresh and it kind of like more so than maybe working in console development that we both did before, where you're kind of focused on one game for 2 years and that's what you're doing, or if you're working for one of the big companies that has a big parent, then you might get stuck with that one particular kind of game forever,
Right.
for like a
Franchise or
decade or
something,
something.
Yeah.
So, So yeah, just having that ability to work on all these different things, and the fact that they're live, and if there's something that you need to fix, you can get it out there pretty quickly, or you can have seasonal stuff that comes with the holidays and stuff is cool, you know. So that's all new for me.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions from the audience? By chance, my chat still hasn't loaded. That's awesome.
First time you log in?
Yeah, I know.
Say anything about the DCO sounds?
Oh. Did you guys work on DCO at all?
I worked on it for 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah, back
I was
last year.
Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Mark wasn't quite here yet when I was doing that, but yeah, it was one of those things where it was just a variety of sounds that they needed some help with, some weapons and some powers. That was really fun because I actually lined all those up for a presentation for some students at my old recording school about 3 months ago, and I played them all back to back, and I was trying to remember like where did I come up with this stuff? I have no idea. So there were all kinds of cool power stuff that and some weapons and stuff. But I'm not sure what made it in.
Yeah.
You know, since that was all handled in Austin. So,
Right.
Yeah, but it was fun.
I bet.
It's fun to just sit down with a bunch of videos and just go nuts. So,
Yeah. I would always one of my, speaking of doing like voices and sound, and
Sure.
I love doing what is that? Whose Line, and how they put up fake videos and then turn off the sound and they do.
Oh, Whose Line is it anyway? Stuff.
Yeah. I just love to do that, like with our games.
Yeah.
Record a scene and then
Yeah.
it would be fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
What kind of questions do we have?
Do you think that the characters in Free Realms will ever get voiceovers?
The characters. I guess I would need to know which characters.
Like the quest NPCs?
The player
You know, that's
characters.
one of those things where you kind of, once you do it, like if you play something like EQ2, you'll notice that some of the early stuff, they have that.
Yeah.
But it gets, when you start to have, the game starts to grow and get really massive,
Yeah.
it gets really expensive to hire actors, and they go into this studio in LA. So
Especially if it's just a handful of lines. This is some of the stuff that we're running into with Clone Wars now. Hey, we're coming out with this new combat feature and all that stuff, and they've got, 5 lines for this SAG actor who has to come in and charge the full amount, and and then it gets localized out to all the other languages, and that gets expensive.
Yeah.
So it just kind of the cost.
when you
nuts.
start to do stuff like that, give the
Yeah.
NPCs voices, it usually adds like 5 people that need to work, there's a lot that goes into it, so
Yeah.
sometimes you just get
Maybe,
away.
Yeah, some of
maybe
it's-
they're
you never know,
thinking of like,
Well, you know how like the gnomes in EQ2 go, I'm crazy, or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, some flavor stuff. That would
Yeah.
be something we could easily do. I would doubt that you would have like every single text word
Right.
have an accompanying audio
Right.
with it. But
Right.
I think that
Right.
the fun
Yeah.
stuff, especially if it's not everywhere,
right.
is,
Well, like when you do slash wave in EQ2, the character is like, hello!
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
maybe
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, something
think
that's kind of
somebody-
like
yeah.
a flourish animation or something that plays, right?
That could be cute.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's a good idea.
We're definitely up for it. So,
If the moose can talk, so can
Yeah.
other people.
yeah.
Anything else?
There are some questions about like the Boombox music. Will that ever be able to download besides just in-game?
That would be really cool. I'd love to have
that
some of
stuff-
that like ringtone.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because some of that stuff is it's licensed music that we get from a source that we use here at SOE. So I'm not sure the legality of it. If we
Right.
can just make it available or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's not anything that was written here, although I wish it was because we'd love to do that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. But
Yeah, I think
then
it's
we can
fun
say
when-
everybody can have
when
it.
you can
Okay.
buy a game and then get an accompanying soundtrack with it, or
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
always, we've talked about doing some of that with the other games. There's so much legal stuff you have to go through to
Yeah.
see if you can do it
Sure.
or not, that we're
Sure.
kinda 1/4 way in.
Yeah. So my guess is probably not.
Yeah.
But I can definitely check on it and see.
That would
So,
be fun.
Yeah, there's lots of
Alright.
cool tracks.
Well, we're out of time, and there's another webcast right after us.
All right.
So we
Cool.
thank you guys so much for joining us for the SOE Community Webcast Sound and Music of Free Realms.
All right.
We
Cool.
hope you
Thanks for
enjoyed
inviting us.
hearing from Rodney and Mark, and that you guys will come back again with
Oh, yeah.
more
Anytime.
Sounds
sound
good.
and music questions.
No, it sounds great.
So see you guys next time.
All right.
Bye.
La-dee-do-do-do-do.